When a quarterback releases a deep pass, the image of that football reaches millions of screens in milliseconds. There are no second takes and no room for latency. A modern live sports broadcast is a relentless, high-bandwidth sprint of uncompressed data. Before a single frame of video is transmitted, production crews construct an entire temporary television network from scratch inside the venue. This requires miles of fiber optic cabling to connect a vast array of specialized acquisition endpoints. For a marquee national event like the Super Bowl, this optical footprint can scale to over 200 specialized cameras. In contrast, a midweek local baseball broadcast operates with a leaner footprint, typically employing between 8 and 14 cameras. The backbone of this capture relies on hard cameras stationed high above the field, outfitted with high-end box lenses capable of 100 times optical magnification. These lenses correct for chromatic aberration and distortion, maintaining razor-sharp focus while tracking a football from hundreds of feet away. To capture these forensic instant replays, productions deploy high frame rate cameras operating at up to 1,000 frames per second. Because the camera shutter opens and closes so rapidly, sensors receive drastically less light per frame. Operators must compensate with wide-open lens apertures, which creates a razor-thin depth of field and requires exceptional skill to keep a moving athlete in focus. Broadcasters also embed ruggedized point-of-view cameras directly into the impact zones. The miniature cameras inside the NFL's goal line pylons are hardwired with specialized breakaway cables that instantly detach during a player collision to prevent injury. For sweeping aerial perspectives, the Skycam system utilizes a robotic camera suspended by a 4-point motorized pulley system. To avoid cellular interference in a stadium packed with fans, the video data travels directly along physical optical fiber lines, coupled to the suspension ropes, rather than over a wireless connection. The stadium functions as a high-interference data capture zone, where raw visual signals are acquired through immense optical engineering. All of these disparate camera feeds converge at the outside broadcast van. Parked securely in the stadium compound, this custom-built trailer functions as a hyper-dense, climate-controlled mobile data center. Cameras connect to the truck using SMPTE hybrid fiber optic cables. This bidirectional connection uses glass fibers to pull uncompressed video inward, while integrated copper wires push power, tally lights, and intercom audio back out to the operator. Inside the truck, these cables terminate at a wall of camera control units. Here, broadcast engineers known as video shaders sit before arrays of waveform monitors to manage the incoming signals. The shader's challenge is continuous. If a wide receiver sprints from the sunlit center of the field into the deep shadows of the stadium overhang, the shader must manually adjust the camera's iris in real time. They ensure the exposure and color balance remain perfectly constant for the viewer at home. Before the director ever evaluates a camera feed, this layer of real-time photometric engineering has already normalized the visual reality of the game. The primary production gallery operates as a command center, relying on split-second coordination. Under a rigid hierarchy, the producer dictates the overarching editorial narrative, while the director watches a massive monitor wall displaying every live video feed simultaneously. Anticipating the play, the director calls out camera sources in a continuous, rapid-fire sequence. The technical director, or TD, executes these commands using a massive vision mixer. Their hands move across the board to cut, wipe, and dissolve uncompressed video feeds with split-second precision to match the director's cadence. The defining technical feature of the broadcast is the instant replay, powered by specialized hardware known as the EVS server system. The EVS system continuously records uncompressed camera feeds in a loop directly onto high-speed hard drives. When a critical play occurs, an operator uses a weighted jog dial to scrub through the recorded frames. They mark in and out points around the action, while the system automatically saves footage buffers called guard bands. Timecode synchronization then instantly generates identical, time-matched replay clips across all other recorded angles. An instant replay is an ultra-fast database query executed, reviewed, and queued for broadcast in under 5 seconds. The score bug, player stats, and virtual first down lines are never permanently burned into the raw camera video. They are overlaid dynamically in real time. To achieve this, the system outputs 2 distinct video signals to the vision mixer. the full-color fill signal, and a secondary grayscale feed called the key signal, or alpha channel. The technical director utilizes a downstream keyer to combine them. The grayscale values in the key signal act as a map, instructing the mixer to punch an exact transparency hole in the live video and fill it with the color data from the fill signal. Grayscale values between black and white dictate varying levels of semi-transparency. This allows for sophisticated visual overlays, such as soft drop shadows and translucent glass textures, to be rendered over the live field. Because major sports are global commercial properties, the OB van simultaneously fabricates different variations of the finalized video output. The dirty feed is the primary output, containing all domestic proprietary graphics and English language commentary. Simultaneously, the truck generates a clean feed. Advanced routing architectures extract the signal prior to the graphics stage, delivering a pristine visual canvas for international broadcasters to localize for their own markets. The OB van functions as a real-time rendering engine, constructing multiple distinct versions of reality to serve disparate global commercial markets. Once finalized, the signal embarks on the backhaul phase, utilizing dedicated dark fiber lines or geostationary satellites to transmit video out of the stadium. This transmission lands at the master control room, the network's central hub responsible for quality control and the insertion of national commercial breaks. At the MCR, operators face the challenge of format conversion due to the fragmented nature of consumer televisions. A game might be produced natively in 4K high dynamic range, or HDR, which captures more nuanced details in shadows and highlights. Hardware processors must simultaneously downmap this signal into standard dynamic range for legacy cable delivery, ensuring that deep stadium shadows and sunlit field highlights look correct regardless of the viewer's TV model. From the MCR, the signal diverges. Traditional linear cable is highly stable and guarantees simultaneous delivery, while over-the-top streaming requires a technically volatile delivery architecture. Cloud transcoders slice the live streaming video into discrete chunks of 2 to 6 seconds. Each chunk is encoded into multiple resolutions and bit rates to enable smart adaptive bitrate streaming. These chunks are cached on global edge servers. As a fan watches, their device monitors network conditions. If their local connection drops, the player automatically requests lower bitrate chunks from the nearest edge server to prevent buffering. The time required to slice, encode, and cache these chunks inherently introduces streaming delay. Modern low-latency protocols are currently being implemented to compress this delay so the streaming feed can compete with traditional cable delivery. Today, broadcasters are replacing traditional physical infrastructure with borderless, data-driven networks. This shift is driven by an economic divide. While national networks command premium advertising rates and massive budgets, local regional sports networks, or RSNs, must maintain professional standards while operating under leaner constraints. The RSN business model is currently undergoing a structural collapse. Rapid cord cutting has decimated subscriber revenues, while national leagues are cannibalizing exclusive local broadcast windows and playoff rights to feed national streaming deals. This tightening financial pressure is forcing broadcasters to abandon the expensive travel footprint of traditional OB vans in favor of remote integration model workflows, known as REMI. In a REMI setup, only the cameras and operators travel to the venue. The raw, unmixed camera feeds are backhauled over the internet to a centralized, permanent production control room hundreds of miles away, drastically reducing overhead costs. True cloud-native production represents the edge of this evolution. In events like off-road desert racing, rolling a traditional OB van is physically impossible. Production teams mount bonded cellular packs and Starlink satellite connections directly to racing trucks and aerial chase helicopters. These high-speed feeds are beamed into a virtual cloud environment, allowing a geographically dispersed team to live switch the broadcast via a web browser. The protocol enabling this shift is SMPTE ST2110. It replaces legacy SDI baseband copper wiring, which rigidly bound video and audio together. ST2110 breaks media into separate, uncompressed elementary essence streams. These streams are routed independently over standard IT network switches, providing infinite routing flexibility through software virtualization. The live sports broadcast operates as a highly elastic, virtualized software network, distributed globally rather than confined to a single truck.